Those efforts in enhancing practical teaching of science education. Nigerian children think peace as Belgium embassy organizes peace art competition. From the foreign scenes, the China testifies ICBM for first time in decades. Here's a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for the total around maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values that's giving maximum support for the task ahead. Good evening and welcome to the evening news. My name is Uchechukwu Ebonam. The Anambra State Commissioner for Information, Dr. Law Mefo, has visited the corporate headquarters of Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS Awka, and helped on telling the Anambra story. The Commissioner, Dr. Mefo, was in company of the Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Barrister Onyekwelu Ndereka, and all the key staff members. Correspondent Kenneth Chukwudi has the details.
In his remark, Dr. Mefo emphasized that Anambra State, with an estimated population of 10 million people, has a diverse audience to be served with educative information, especially with the efforts of the state government in providing infrastructure for a livable homeland for Ndi Anambra and residents. He noted that a paradigm shift is needed for things to be done better beyond the current state through leveraging on the digital space, focused on telling the Anambra State story and ensuring that Ndi Anambra are adequately informed using resources and strength of the media station.
You carefully define your population. You have to segregate the Anambra population into specific publics. Not just looking at Anambra as a single population. No, it is not. Anambra is made up of at least a dozen populations. Each of them you must specifically speak to if you want to pass any meaning. The people in the rural communities in Anambra, the message for them will not be the same thing for people who are living in the cosmopolitan Awka.
Welcoming the commissioner, the managing director, Mr. Moluku, explained that ABS will be positioned to serve the Anambra audience effectively with news, programs, and content telling the Anambra State story to the diverse audience with needful tools put in place. He also said that the digital space is where ABS is directing its efforts so that people will get acquainted with programs, policies, and achievements of government. The Director of Legal Services, Barrister Juliet Amasiatu, Director of Commercial Department, Lady Uju Ifediba, Director of News and Current Affairs, Mrs. Judy Jeff Nwabweze, Director of Administration, Lady Tina Ekenta, amongst others, were present during the meeting. In Awka, it's been Kenetuku Chukwudi for ABS News.
The Anambra State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chumude, has described the distribution of cutting-edge science laboratory equipment to public secondary schools in the state as a historic event that will enhance the practical teaching and learning of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM education. Professor Chukwuma, presented by Mrs. Chinyelu Nwachukwu, said this at Capital City Secondary School, Awka, where representatives of the benefiting schools were in attendance to receive the equipment. Queen Anibogo has the details.
While saying that the event was a great privilege, the commissioner charged the principals and teachers to make judicious use of the equipment to teach the students.
I advise the teachers, like we heard earlier, to be making constant use of these equipment to teach the students, and the students, they practicalize it by themselves.
To the teachers, engage the students in practicals. Ask students applicable questions as it helps them to provide solutions to existing problems. Make sure you have the right materials and collaborate with fellow teachers, as no one person knows it all.
The resource officer of the private firm that supplied the equipment, Dr. Uchenna Ezogu, disclosed that the firm carried out a needs assessment of 224 public secondary schools in the state and found out that 94% of these schools have laboratory structures but were deficient in equipment, and the remaining 6% has structures but no laboratory equipment. So to upgrade Anambra students to global standard, hence the procurement and distribution of the laboratory equipment by the state government. A representative of Anambra State Association of Town Union, ASATU, Professor Charles Mwadigwe, advised that as the benefiting schools are domiciled in Anambra communities, principals should liaise with President General of the communities where their schools are located to ensure that the equipment are properly secured. In a vote of thanks on behalf of the students, Ms. Chidalu Onyebuchi for Community Secondary School, Isuofia, thanked God for using Governor Chukwuma Soludo as the solution provider in the state education sector and prayed God to bless him.
We need to thank our Almighty God for using the governor as the solution provider of education and inspiring you to offer this gift to us. May God bless you. We are solidly behind you.
The unveiling of the STEM equipment by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Onyeka Ibezim, equipment demonstration and interactive section featured at the program. Queen Anibogo reporting for ABS News.
It was Pambam Pageantry Saturday, 21st September, as the Permanent Secretary, Office of the Secretary to Anambra State Government and Supervising Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Dr. Nwabufo Nwankwo, was installed the 41st President of the Rotary Club of Awka. The event attracted Rotarians from different clubs, the academia, government officials, family, friends and well-wishers, including the wife of the State Governor, Mrs. Nonye Soludo, represented by the Commissioner for Special Duties, Barrister Beverly Ibazun Kemdiche. The Secretary to the State Government, Professor Solocho Hulobel, among numerous distinguished individuals. Correspondent Chibuzo Okoye has the details.
Handing over the symbol of authority to Dr. Nwankwo, the outgoing president of the club for 2023-2024 Rotary year, Mr. Cheka Ibeneme described Dr. Nwankwo as a man who will take the club to a higher level, extolling him for the numerous milestones he has achieved within his 3 months as president, including growing the club's strength from 75 to 100 members. In his address, the new president, Dr. Nwankwo, who vowed to move the club to a higher pedestal, appreciated all those who came to support the event. He noted that they are committed to keeping alive the Rotary values through selfless service, saying that Rotary Club of Awka has identified several projects to undertake under his leadership to include maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, communities and economic development, disease prevention and treatment, water sanitation and hygiene, environment, among others.
It is a great privilege to be saddled with this dignified office to serve humanity in such a great and well-organized organization. Rotary Club, therefore, continue to maintain the core values of Rotary International by creating a world where compassion and kindness thrive through selfless giving.
In an interview, Mrs. Soludo, who received a Humanitarian Service Award and represented by Barrister Kemdiche Ikpeazu, congratulated Dr. Nwankwo for his new position and promised to work with the Rotary Club of Awka, liking Rotary activities to what she is doing with her non-governmental organization, Healthy Living with Nonye Soludo.
What the Rotary Club is doing is similar to what Dr. Nonye Soludo is doing. You know, things like that, she goes a long way to touch people. So they're really hand in hand.
Also speaking, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Awka Capital Territory Development Authority, Mr. Osio Nuko, described Dr. Nwankwo as a seasoned administrator and achiever and expressed optimism that he will perform beyond expectations. The Governor, Rotary Club International, District 9142, Professor A.U. Nonyelo, the member representing Awka North and South Federal Constituency, Professor Lilian Orobu, a one-time Commissioner of Information in Anambra State, Chief Majume, the immediate past Managing Director of the Anambra Broadcasting Service, Sachido Bidiego, among many dignitaries, attended the event. Dr. Nwankwo at the event performed his first function by inducting new members of the club, which included the Permanent Secretary, Anambra State Ministry of Health, Dr. Obiageli Uchebo, and her youth and sports counterpart, Dr. Martin Abele. In Awka, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
The Rotary Club of Awka Central, District 9142, has installed Rotarian Ekene Agubata as its president for the 2024-2025 service year. The epoch-making ceremony, which was held in Awka, also featured induction of new members and the presentation of awards to some individuals who have impacted humanity positively. Correspondent Chukwuemeka Modlim completes the story.
Rotarian Agobata, who is the 11th president of the club, took over from Professor Chidozie Ezezwe in his acceptance speech after taking the oath of office and allegiance. Rotarian Agobata explained that within 1 year he would pilot the affairs of the club. He will execute impactful projects like community economic development, youth empowerment, cleanup services at different locations in Awka, arresting maternal and child mortality, among others, even as he urged all members of the club and their lovers to give him all the support he needs to succeed.
I am elated to feel the joy to have been chosen amongst everyone in my club, great men and women. I shall rely on their friendly advice, constructive criticisms, and God's grace to see me and our club through this Rotary year. I believe that we shall achieve a world where people unite and take actions to create lasting change across the globe.
Earlier in his valedictory speech, the immediate past president of Rotary Club of Awka Central, Professor Ezezwe, noted that the club succeeded under his leadership despite the challenges it faced, and advised the new president to be diplomatic in his activities and served them with wisdom and humility to achieve his vision for the club, assuring that he is solidly behind him. In his remarks, the president of the Rotary Club of Awka, Dr. Mwabufo Nwankwo, said that Rotary Club of Awka Central made the right choice in Rotarian Agobata as he can take the club to greater heights.
Rotary is a service organization, where you bring your time and your talent, you put it together to serve the society, and that's what I'm doing over the years. Well, he needs to be focused. He needs to have targets on what he wants to achieve. It's a 1-year term.
Some of the awardees at the ceremony, including Mrs. Chinwe Ezanya, who commended the charity works Rotary render to humanity, promised to continue to support their activities.
I love the unity I've observed today. They do things together. They love themselves. They are ready to give to charity. I noted it.
In Awka, Chukwuemeka Modlim, ABS News.
Still to come in the news tonight. Nigerian children think peace as Belgium embassy organizes peace art competition. China testifies ICBM for first time in decades. Here's a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values that's giving maximum support for the task ahead. News returns shortly after the break.
What?
Sonia tomato mix, stand up, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop, and easy to stir. Dishes come alive with so much taste. Sonia tomato mix, of course. Sonia tomato mix, yes sir. Sonia tomato mix, stand up,
I'm in love. Oh, with you, of course, my darling.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Welcome back to the rest of the news. The Holy Book says we should bring up a child in the way he should go and not depart from it. It is in this vein that children on age 8 to 10 came together to express their visions of peace through art as a competition organized by the Belgium Embassy in Abuja. The event aimed at promoting peace and understanding came to a close with a ceremony celebrating these young artists' remarkable work. Correspondent Ekwejide filed in the report.
It was an afternoon filled with color, creativity, and a shared message of peace at the residence of the Belgian ambassador in Nigeria. The closing ceremony of the Peace Art competition showcased how young minds are interpreting the concept of peace in a world filled with conflict. The competition brought together over 50 children, each with a unique perspective on peace. Organizers say the initiative is a step towards fostering a generation that values harmony and unity. Ambassador Pieter Lenget believes that peace begins with children and that through art they can communicate their ideas and inspire adults to imagine a better world where dialogue, respect and understanding reign supreme.
Nobody who forces a child to draw, it just happens just like this. And that's a fantastic thing. So you have to cherish it, and combining that, culture, art and peace, it's a fantastic combination.
Speaker after speaker at the event highlighted not only the importance of peace, but also the transformative power of art in conveying deep, meaningful messages.
Imagination of peace, you know, and harmony is getting louder and louder and louder by the day.
Of peace through painting. And today we are here to celebrate the children, talk about peace, and you are especially welcome to Belgium.
The children's creativity shown through colorful depictions of diverse cultures living in harmony to scenes of nature untouched by conflict. The children exhibited that the competition has been a positive experience for them, encouraged them to think critically about peace and how they can contribute to it.
When I first heard about this competition through my mother, I was very excited. And I actually drew a drawing about the sun and the grass and the trees and how everything works together to create the ecosystem.
The competition ended with an award ceremony where outstanding participants were recognized for their exceptional work, and organizers are hoping that these young artists will carry out the message of peace beyond the canvas and into their communities.
From the foreign scenes, China has said it successfully launched an intercontinental ballistic missile carrying a dummy warhead into the Pacific Ocean. The ICBM was launched today and fell into expected sea areas. Beijing's defense ministry said, adding that the test launch was routine and part of its annual training. The type of missile and its flight path remained unclear, as Chinese said Beijing had informed the countries concerned in advance. Japan later said that it received no notice of the test launch. China's nuclear weapon test usually takes place domestically, and it previously test-fired ICBMs west into the Taklamakan Desert in the Zhejiang region. This is believed to be the first time since 1980 that it launched an ICBM into international waters. He added that Beijing's description of the test as routine and annual was art. Also, the Japanese government today said that China had given it no prior notice of the ICBM launch. When China last did such a test in May 1980, the ICBM flew 9,070 kilometers and landed in the Pacific, which involved 18 Chinese naval ships, and is still considered one of China's biggest naval missions. From the world of sports, the 2027 Champions League final will be moved away from the San Siro in Milan due to uncertainties over potential renovations, UEFA said. European football governing body said that the San Siro had lost the showpiece fixture, as the city of Milan could not guarantee that the ground and the surrounding areas would not be affected by refurbishment works. Earlier this month, AC Milan and Inter Milan, who both played their home matches at the San Siro, rejected a project to modernize and restructure the iconic stadium, which is owned by the city of Milan. Mayor of Milan, Giuseppe Sala, said both clubs could be ready to relaunch their initial project of a new stadium in the immediate vicinity of San Siro, which had been abandoned last year after political and bureaucratic rebels. Earlier this year, AC Milan bought land in the suburb of San Donato Milanese to the southeast of the city as part of a plan to move outside the official boundaries of the city of Milan in the hope they would more easily gain building approval. Reigning Serie A champions Inter have their sights set on the towns of Rossano and Assago, just north of Milan, after sounding out the possibility of building on former industrial land in populous northern suburb Sesto San Giovanni. In 2026, San Siro will host the opening ceremony of the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. Before we go tonight, remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS TV from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at ABS Television Oka. On X, formerly Twitter, we are ABS Radio TV. On Instagram, we are ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points that made the news again tonight. Anambra State to reposition ABS for optimal performance. Stakeholders has lauded Governor Soludo's efforts in enhancing practical teaching of science education. Nigerian children think peace as Belgium Embassy organizes peace art competition. Finally, from the foreign scenes, we told you China has testified ICBM for first time in decades. Here's a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's all on the news tonight. My name is Uche Chukwu Ebenam. Thank you so much for staying with us. Good night.